So, this is another one of those, I don't know what to call them, updates or just me studying Satan, going going through um, Satan's, you know, therapy. Like, Satan's one of those type of people where I'll say stuff to Satan. Now imagine this. Imagine you are in a room with a bunch of people and, or not even a bunch of people, let's just say one person. And every single time you try to scold them or get mad at them, they just said the same thing to you in a sassy, cocky, I put chlorophyll in my mouth, sassy, cocky, ignorant, hubris, narcissistic, near delusional, almost nauseous, only sometimes with the nauseous part, voice. Like imagine being a doctor and having every single time you said something, imagine diagnosing a patient and they kept thinking that you were talking about yourself. Like like a doctor and then a patient, like this. And then the doctor's talking to the patient, and the patient's like, so you're telling me you're schizophrenic? I mean, this isn't exactly what Satan sounds like, but like on the inside of their head, I always change slightly what Satan would sound like or think like in their head because they're aliens, they're a hive mind, they're like millions or even billions of people, depending on if you count the actual shapeshifters or the people they possess or the people they control, like by proxy, where it's like, there might be real shapeshifters and then the people they influence, if you want to connect them as being part of them, then I don't know, you might as well kind of at that point. Or people who are just like them, like the id, people who are really have a lot of like primordial id in them, and people who have a high ego and who are just violent and satanic in general, would you count them as being part of Satan's hive mind? It's like, it's kind of like semantics almost. People who are under their brainwashing control, people, it's almost like a massive MK Ultra thing, behavioral changing, spoon feeding humanity, more sex, more drugs, more all this stuff, more Satanism, less religion, more violence, more greed, more ego, more id. That's what Satan's doing to the world. But I mean, if you really, okay, how do I word this? Now, they don't really think in English. There's a bunch of them talking at the same time. Like I told you about the evil version of Unity, the actual real evil version of Unity. And like from Rick and Morty, look up Unity from Rick and Morty and imagine that, but kind of evil and not exactly the show. Not exactly that, but evil, but something similar. Like, so Satan's thoughts in their head, just like a human, you think in English or Japanese or whatever language you speak in your head, but then there's thoughts like that are, trying to assess your reality, your perception, the way you perceive, the way you think, the way you feel, the way you memorize. That's not in your native language. So, I mean, with Satan, I basically guess what they're thinking, feeling, and saying, and try and say it. And if I say it, I can see and gauge if that's something they might say or not, and go from there. And combine that with my knowledge of body language and all the people around me that are basically possessed and controlled and are them, like satanic or otherwise. Not just satanic humans, I mean people that are actually literally Satan. That you could see. Like me, I mean, I don't know. I just woke up. It's the camera. I don't know, but you can see they're like red in their eyes and crying sometimes because of me. Because I mean, imagine finding out that you're the people, the hive mind in the Bible that are all destined to go to hell forever and burn fire and brimstone. Look up the Bible and imagine being Satan. Imagine reading a book where it's like let out of prison just to go back to hell forever, and the smoke of that torment rises forever and ever. And imagine that dude that wrote that being real. And then imagine being so pathetic where you had a chance at going to heaven and all you had to do. Now imagine if you committed crimes. Now, put yourself in this position for a second. Imagine if you were I mean, not that you would want to, but I mean, just for God's sake. How about that? For me. Think about being the worst disgusting mutant monster ever. And being put in prison and being sat down and being like, oh, like this is like saying like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not bad. And I'm not saying that's literally Satan in me, obviously. I'm not saying that's Satan in me, stupid. I don't know if anyone's thinking that. I hope not, because I'm around Satan, so I get mad easily. Satan's literally someone who I mean, again, I'm not making fun of mentally challenged people, people with disabilities, people with autism or Down syndrome or any sort of disorder. I'm not making people with palsy or epilepsy or anything, or any sort of speech disorders or brain disorders or brain damage or anything. Even drug addicts, I'm not really making fun of. But Satan, if you were to they're the weirdest mix ever because they are the Illuminati. They are people that are high up in the government. They are people that are highly manipulative and they're intelligent at being manipulative. But with me, it's like everything falls apart. It's like a mind. They might as well have a mind virus. I might as well have a mind ray that gives them their mind virus. Around me, they just don't even make sense. It's like they're like idiot savants, but not even. They're like mentally challenged, brain dead, dead brain, have no brain, not even a dead brain, brain damage, have no brain, have no memorization, don't even speak, I speak English, don't even speak my language, don't even speak English, don't speak anything, have no association skills, and are just blinded by the ambition, blinded by the nature of their reality. All they see and want is me to turn back into Hayden. All they see and want is for me to be a girl. All they see and want is power and money and wealth and disgusting, horrible stuff. Like they're literally the dragon in the Bible. They're literally reptilian, and they literally hoard gold and power and try and torture people. I mean, they're literally like the dragons from stories that like a hero would have to go out and fight. And they're the Illuminati, and they are technically demonic entities that I wouldn't count as aliens, really, because not I think like 95% of people when they think of aliens, they think of grays. Maybe not 95%, but yeah, I'd say they think of big head, or they think of little green men that are look just like grays, anyways. So I don't know, at least 80%, maybe. I don't know. So they're just demons. They're like imagine the things from Brave New World. No, not Brave New World. The Time Machine. Like big ogres with clubs. Like imagine sitting one of them down. Uh, and being like, I want to study you. You got lucky. We wrote the Bible to scare you. When I say we, I mean the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. So me, and me, in a way. That's basically a loose way to put it. And then they literally hurt me more than ever. I explained to them, you have an interesting disease, where it's like they might as well have saw themselves inside of Hayden Lonsdale. And not me. Well, now me too. And they even say Hayden in me now, quote unquote. And when I say that, I mean, it's almost like I'm talking to you. You obviously would know what I mean. But Satan's like, is it Hayden? Because their nature of reality, their ambitions, their goals, their aims affect their perception and the lens they see through life. And all they see is Hayden again? Is it Hayden again? Can I make him into a girl? Can I torture him? Because that's all they care about. It's more like this. Is it Hayden? Is it? Is it someone we can torture? Uh, is it? Can we torture? And that's basically what they're saying, thinking, and feeling. If not exactly, eventually they almost will be thinking and feeling that. Because like I said, over time, like that, like a clock, I'm behavioral changing them. Think about it like that. I don't know, that's a cool way to put it, I think. So over time, I'm behavioral changing them as they're behavioral trying to behavioral change me. Which is something the Illuminati is doing to the people, like I talked about, in society. But with me, I just laugh at them because the way they're doing it is it's like they have a strategy to do it to some other dude and tried it on Hayden and it wasn't exactly working. And then they're trying to use the strategy to get some other dude that might as well be as smart as them. They might as well be looking at themselves, like I was just talking about. They saw a lot of themselves in Hayden Robert Lonsdale. They sent Robert LaFleur after Hayden Lonsdale. And it was Satan that was also, at times, for moments, possessed by the Holy Spirit in order to summon me in Hayden's body to eventually say this. Pre-programmed memories and everything, pre-programmed personalities and everything. But it wasn't just from Robert LaFleur, it was also from space, technically, or another dimension, another universe, whatever simulation, whatever you want to think about it as. Galaxy, I don't know, whatever word fits best for you, but I'd say universe is the best fit word for that. and they thought that Hayden wanted to be hurt and molested or tortured, and that he was like a girl or an old lady or a little kid, and that's exactly what Satan's like. They thought that Hayden only loved Satan when Satan was angry and evil, at the same time as Satan was trying to make it so that, oh, it would seem like Satan was trying to make it so that Satan was allowed to be evil to Hayden. And Satan said to Hayden, "You are so retarded, you might as well look at this." And Hayden's like, "I am?" And that sounds kind of retarded, but Hayden had a childlike mentality, and he was like, he trusted, and he was also in shock and scared. He was trusted the people who he thought was aliens, and thought was me. And I wouldn't have said that to Hayden because he was smart. He was into psychology and politics, so was nice and polite, and could probably run a small country or the whole world by himself already without any assistance from anyone, really. Just being able to know the people that good. And, with the fact that he would want to study everyone. So it was an interesting story that Satan always thinks they're like God. Satan thought that Hayden was like Satan at the same time as Satan thinks they're like, I don't know, all that. And Hayden thought I was them because I wanted him to. And Hayden was like me, but they saw them in me and Hayden. And it was like this weird, confusing story. Like, I don't know, something like this would make sense. Like, Robert, Hayden, me, like this weird triangle of like everyone thought they were someone else. Except Hayden was allowed to and was supposed to, and I wanted him to think that he was me and they were him because I built up like a small subconscious bubble in Hayden that would eventually get bigger through memories where he would know he's me, he'd see signs he's me, and then he would go away instantly because he would think that can't be true. I don't need to think about that. And he was good at suppressing stuff because of all the trauma he'd been through. Like I told you about building my avatar, where Hayden would go through something traumatic, or see or hear something traumatic, or just something like that, and then forget about it instantly. It was a little bubble that would get bigger and bigger, and then eventually, boom, he became me. Once he fully remembered, like Orgulorg would forget for once he came, but I'm not exactly based on Orgulorg. It's more of a metaphorical reference, an analogy, something that could be used adjacently or something that could be combined with other stories and characters in order to build me. Like an exquisite corpse, you have to add this part of this story, this part of this song, this part of this song, this part of this sign, this part of this Hayden, this part of this Bible, this part of this Jesus, and then you combine it into an exquisite corpse. Look at what an exquisite corpse is. It's a bunch of different parts that combine into a person or a being or a poem, usually a poem, where someone will write a song and then they don't know what that person wrote before the one sentence and they go off or something like that. And I was talking to Satan like this, where they say, "Remember, you're the true son of Lucifer. You'll forget from whence you came, remember?" And I mean, they were literally saying that in Hayden's head. I mean, despite all the other disgusting stuff they were doing, which you can imagine, the horrible, disgusting Illuminati, their demons, obviously they do disgusting, horrible stuff, fill in the blank. Anything horrible that a human would do, imagine them doing it times 10, or even more, a million even. So, imagine someone, and it's like, I don't even know, they're confusing. Because it's like, how can they even walk with it? How can they even breathe? How can they even do anything with how retarded and disgusting and just stupid they are? It's almost hilarious to me, who's a million years old, that knows that I'm gonna save everyone, that knows I'm not evil, that just can't help but to fucking laugh at Satan all day hysterically. I mean, this is them. Not again, I'm not saying I hope you guys are that smart. I hope you guys aren't retarded as them. They're literally just who they said Hayden was. As retarded as someone who'd be like this, where I would be sitting down like this. Like it'd be like this, and I explained to them, when you're talking to me, you're basically talking to the sun, the moon, the stars. And they probably were picturing the sun talking, because they didn't. I said, might as well. You might as well be talking to an alien. Aliens, I said. And then I even got Iron Man sunglasses, where I had Hayden Lonsdale buy Iron Man sunglasses so that he would be listening to specific songs, because I was the one that made him listen to songs from a different universe and controlling him almost. Like a avatar. Like Midnight Clancy, he goes down to the Avatar to be born, and it looks like a vagina. Or Orglor, he falls from a comet into a penguin that he was possessing, like stuff like that, or Alien Boy, Oliver Tree, those songs. If I told you about Robert LaFleur and Hayden and me, you would know those songs were about us. And Satan doesn't care at all. They're like, but we're the Illuminati, we're the music industry. And it's like, then why are all the songs on Hayden's birthday? Why are all the songs related to Hayden? They literally think in their head, we must have forgot that we did that. And they still think I'm Hayden sometimes. Or like, whenever I relax, they'll think I'm Hayden. Or, oh yeah, whenever I relax, like I would turn off my brain for a second, forget, oh no, has he thoughts within his head? Can he walk at all? I mean, I fulfilled more of that prophecy. I don't know what to call it. A prophecy, a foretelling, a foreshadowing, a promise, a sign. I don't know what to call it. And I could barely walk at all. I mean, in a way, I mean, I could walk, but I mean, it just also has to be a song, which I think Satan doesn't get. And then, so besides the whole this thing where Satan thought that it was like a hate love triangle of like thinking everyone getting confused over who is who. Satan would literally be like, remember, it's like you will forget from whence you came. Or Satan has like an opposite disease where it's like right when Hayden was remembering he was Jesus and would then all of a sudden turn into me. And it's literally a different person. I'm not Hayden Lonsdale. I know it sounds crazy, but a scientist would be able to tell the difference. Facial recognition, personality, and stuff like that. Scientists would probably most likely be able to tell the difference. And so Hayden became me, and it was all in weird ways that would really prove who's in control. Like I had Hayden using his phone because it was a good coping skill for him to see my signs through TV, through stuff like that. And I also designed streets in North Attleboro for him. I designed buildings and gave him numbers and codes that Satan is thought he was schizophrenic. The Illuminati, the people that are in the government think of them as aliens. Literally, were too retarded to notice that he was actually speaking to a million-year-old alien, not a demon, an actual real alien. And they decided he was almost schizophrenic for a while because they were too hubris, narcissistic, in denial, and opposite. Where, however smart Hayden was, they thought they were. However retarded they were, they thought Hayden was. And then after a while, they started thinking I was like that. And I was like, what the hell? Like, they always think they're in control of me. Like, they probably think they're controlling me right now. What, controlling? Imagine if you were in a room with someone. Oh yeah, but get back to my other main point. Imagine, literally, sitting down with someone, and someone be like, I'm going to hell, but we're all going to hell. Well, Satan's like a hot mind. Might as well be one person saying we're all going to hell forever. Because we hurt Hayden and humanity. And then we'd be like, yeah, but I want to study you. And I might give you a chance. We wrote the Bible to scare you. And because of this thing, I want to be able to talk to you and understand you and be like your doctor. And you guys I gave them as a test the best dream ever just to see if someone's so horrible and disgusting as like an experiment. Someone so horrible and disgusting as satanic people in the Illuminati and government can actually work to do something for God and change themselves. At the same time, as if they didn't change and do good, I would use experimental, interuniversal, alien, Jesus, God-like therapy on them to treat their insane, crazy, unheard of disease that I like to call the opposite disease. Sometimes they think I'm Hayden, but they're just like who they thought Hayden was. Sometimes they think they're me. Sometimes they think it's me talking to myself. Sometimes I talk to them. I talk to them. They think I'm talking to myself. They do the opposite of whatever I say. Every time they think they're hurting me, they're not. Every time it's like all this crazy stuff that it's like Satan it's just funny. I mean, to me, in the sense that I know everyone's going to be saved and it was all meant to happen anyways, there's no reason why I wouldn't hysterically laugh when Satan's doing funny stuff. Like one time they tried to get me with a french fry. They put gloves everywhere. They think that they can get me if like the other day, the guy at the store unplugged my motor cart for me because I can't walk in stores so I fall. Hence, Iron Man and the New Millennium Cyanide Christ, which is another reason why, like, and it's like the blind as bats, where it's like every single time they think they can get me with something, they don't. And, they can get me, like, what's it called? Amco? Well, from Looney Tunes, like, um, they're like the Tasmanian devil. They're like the I'm like the beep beep, and they keep trying to get me, but they can't. And then they're like Team Rocket. Them trying to get me is like Team Rocket. And the way they try and get me is like they'll go up to me and hold a door open for me thinking it can get me. They'll literally like try and give me like the wrong change to get me. They'll try and leave like a quarter on the ground hoping I'll pick it up so it can get me. Imagine that the devil doesn't just sign deals with humans to torture them, they actually think it's real. They think souls are real when they're not. And they actually talk to me, and they should by now know I'm God, telling them, not real. And literally, after 131 or 132 days of proving to them all day, every day, that they can't get me because they hold a door open for me. They can't get me because like the other day, I drank a coffee, and they're like, did we get them? Or should I say, that's too smart for them. That's like really giving them class and fucking intelligence. They might as well speak like this. Did we get them? Did we get them? And it's like, got me to what? And I'm asking that rhetorically. I know what and how they think they could get me, which they can't. But I always say, get me to what? To show them exactly how mentally challenged, delusional, and schizophrenic they are. And it's also part of my exposure therapy. They think me relaxing will turn me into a different person. But they did the same tactics and strategies on Hayden. It's like, imagine if you studied on how to break into someone's house, and then you went to another person's house, and then that house got knocked down and turned into another house, and you were trying to break into Fort Knox and couldn't. And the people breaking into that Fort Knox styled house was literally a bunch of midgets on a ladder. And I'm just like laughing at them, like, oh, you think you can break into my house? At the same time, it's almost like I gave them the instructions on how to break into my house, and it's not working. I told them all the ways to get me, and it got me to be born in Hayden's body, and they're still listening to those, I would say, evil demon instructions, because only an evil demon would, if I gave a Christian notes on how to get Jesus and how to torture Jesus, they wouldn't listen. I mean, imagine going in church and being like slipping someone notes and being like, this is how you can destroy Jesus. A Christian would be like, I don't want to destroy Jesus. Who are you? And it's like, oh, I'm Jesus. Would you want to destroy me if I told you how? A Christian would be like, no. Or like imagine I'm relaxing, like I just proved I'm Jesus to a human. Then I relaxed. And then I said, whoa, who am I? As a joke or a test. A human would be like, you're Jesus. You just proved to me you're Jesus. Satan would be like, I don't know. Who are you? Where are you? And then every time I'd pop out, like at the same time they were trying to behavioral change me, or should I say they were behavioral changing me with quotes around it the second time, the almost first time. They were trying to behavioral change me and turn me into Hayden again, or ignorant, or mentally challenged, or racist, or just bad. I mean, I fall under ignorant, I guess. Or turn me into a girl, or gay, or think I'm in a different world, or turn me into, I don't know, what they are. They basically want to turn me into what they thought Hayden was and what they really are. Their true selves. And the reason I say like true selves, they think it's opposite language. They even think, at least they even think I speak opposite language. Like at the doctors, I said, this guy, they always try and interrupt me. They think it can get me. And again, I'm going to say, get me to what? If you went up to a human and interrupted them, it would only get them to get angry. And it's opposite, because it's like, imagine the one person you're not supposed to hurt as of now, as a test. If you can get used to not hurting me, you can get used to not hurting any human, because they hated Hayden more than any human. And it's all a weird experimental therapy that I used and am using and will use on them for as long as I can before I want to give up. Because Satan is one of the most interesting people ever. They probably want to believe they're controlling me right now. And if they want me to go to the mental hospital, they want me to think they're my dad. They want me to think they're my mom and my girlfriend. Imagine a literal, like this guy, it's like they admitted that they just want to torture me. They admitted that they just want me to make me into a girl to sacrifice me, but at the same time, they're almost hurt by it. They're just like, oh, I wanted you to be a tortured girl. You hurt my heart. Hayden hurt Satan's heart because he made fun of Satan's fart noise one time. And Satan only knew what Hayden was thinking, and all Hayden said was, ew. And it broke Satan's heart. Imagine. And they thought Hayden was a little girl, and a retard, and crazy, and insane, and schizophrenic, and delusional, when that's what they are. Imagine Satan, an evil monster, got hurt because Hayden said, ew. Aw, we all feel so bad for you. And Satan's probably like, you do? Honestly, I actually do. I know anyone watching this probably wouldn't, but they're actually that schizophrenic and delusional where they're like, what's wrong with hurting people? The way me, a million-year-old alien, viewed them, or at least I try to, their mentality is that of an ignorant, little, demonic girl, like that picture with the little girl, look at the fire like this. Like this. I don't know, I can't do the face, but still. And, oh my god. That just reminded me of something. But imagine that. They thought, they went up to Hayden and said, you're like that little girl from that picture. And it was like the little picture with the girl smiling. He was like, what do they mean? What are they talking about? Subconsciously. Out loud, I think he had like no thoughts because he just went into shock. Imagine an alien or someone you thought of as God, someone you think is really God telling that to you, and you're a guy. I mean, it's just crazy, and that's actually what they like are. They have the mentality of like a little girl or teenage girl, or like an inner city person, or an old dementiaed person. Like imagine, and I tried to explain as part of like the therapy. If I told Satan exactly how crazy you are, they wouldn't believe it. So I try and do it in a way where I show them. I try and say, imagine. There's a picture of this African American man. Not that I don't know. I don't like to include race, but I mean, it doesn't exactly matter what he looks like. But there's a picture of this old man going like this. And I literally was going like this. I imagined Satan as like an evil demonic little girl or like an old man. And Hayden's pre-programmed memories literally had Satan, or should I say I wanted Satan to, at that time, say to Hayden, I got you figured out, kid. I wanna take all your different personalities and figure them out and like categorize them. And I want to study you. That's basically some of the stuff, not word for word, what Robert LaFleur said to Hayden. But that's the type of stuff I want to do to them. So I had to have them say it to Hayden first. And then all of a sudden, it's like all the stuff that they said to Hayden, I could literally say to them and mean it. The songs and everything. And it's like, it's like the most complicated person. Like Robert first said to Hayden, if we can treat you, we can treat anyone. And if I can treat Satan, or should I say if my they can treat their they, then I can treat anyone. Schizophrenia is easy. Take a pill. Go lay down. Be in a comfortable environment. Stop being so stressed. Stop doing drugs. I mean, not always that easy, but you know what I mean. Eat healthier. Do something. But, have better care of better friends and family. With Satan, it's like, Satan will just think you're talking about yourself. Imagine imagine a doctor forcing you to get treatment, and then being like, I think that doctor's talking about himself. Dude, it's like, it's not funny though, because it's like I'm Jesus. I'm supposed to be holy. I am holy, and forgiving and loving and caring, even if it's for evil demons. Some Christians or Muslims or anyone in the world that find out that Jesus is real and he wasn't just a prophet, what might be like, but why would you feel bad for them if they're demons? It's like, because I'm holy. Why would you offer them such good dreams? Like, just make them work for it. Like a carrot. Like an experiment. Like a test. Like a donkey and a carrot. Like I told him last night. My methods, my madness has method. Maybe that's the way I should say it. There's a method to my madness. And it really is like madness. Because at the same time, I don't know, dude. I don't know what to say. I'll have to make a part 2 of this video or something.